Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the Last Night Threezero DLX Optimus Prime from Transformers The Last Night. And this is one of my Holy Grail sets. I remember when I first learned of this was years ago. I was still in school, I didn't have money, and I told myself, if this ever comes out, I'm buying it no matter the price. And I did. And luckily for me, Hasbro had re-released it at relatively retail, and that was awesome. And this was expensive, and I waited a long time after I did receive it to open it, but here we finally got the chance to open it, and I am extremely happy with this purchase. So the box itself is awesome. I also have two other DLXs from my Holy Grail list that we're going to be working with throughout the next couple months. But this one is just a great first impression. Now there was 4 layers to the plastic here, a lot to unpack, and I think if I wasn't recording, I would have probably chosen like a bigger table. This felt a little cramped for me, but that's okay. Instructions came in, and it was mostly just to show all the different points of articulation that he has, which is really awesome. Unfortunately, I was really tired when I shot this, so I didn't fully take it all in. And that is my overall issue with the Threezero figures, is just that like there's a lot that you feel like you could break, and because of the price tag, I was worried doing a lot of things, but you just have to take it like piece by piece, make sure you don't stress any parts, and it feels amazing in hand. This guy was heavy, and he comes with a stand, which is awesome. This one did give me a little bit of grief, but this is also one of my first stands with figures, so also ignore the fact that I took this out like a barbarian. A little piece did come off from the shield, but luckily it just snaps right in, and worst case you can hot glue that or crazy glue it. It's totally fine. The shield is in battle mode, which is awesome. It unfortunately does not move or close, which I wish was like that, but that's all good. It still makes for great pictures, and it looks phenomenal. The paint job and everything is just so amazing and next level, which is fair. It's Threezero, but it's nice. It's a nice difference to what I'm used to. Now for the stand, it does have this adjustable height. I still to this day have issues with it, like it will like lock sometimes and be really hard to take out, but that's minimal, very minimal, and I'm sure I'm just doing something silly and I'm not grasping at some core mechanics. As for the figure itself, it's pretty much everything I wanted. I'm still scared to do some more dynamic poses. I'm sure he can, but I did do a decent amount that I am going to be attaching at the end of this video. Now this is his sort of sawed-off shotgun that he uses in the movie. At least I'm pretty sure. It's not the ion blaster he uses in the 4th movie, I can tell you that for sure. And then we have a couple sets of hands. You do have to remove the little the hand cover that he'll have when you switch to hands. He does have this little wrist blade, which is common. You have that in the YOLO Park version as well, and of course the Sword of Judgment, which is just phenomenal. One day I'd love to own like a human-sized version of that because I really like it. He does have hands for multiple different dynamic poses, including one that is articulate and holding the sword, holding the gun. Really fun stuff. And these little silver bits are for like being able to hold the swords, things like that. And he does come with his maskless face, which is awesome as well. And just like in the YOLO Park version, this is a little side piece for his left arm, which allows you to attach the dagger and the shield, which is awesome. Now as for the figure itself, there's a lot of plastic packaging, which I do appreciate. Not for the environment, but just to keep the figure safe. And wow, it is heavy. And that's great. It feels like it could be used as a blunt object. It's awesome. very happy with this. As you can see, he is pretty tall. I'm going to compare him to the Yolo Park eventually. That's just yet another piece to have the shield on his back. Little plastic on top of the head, and then there's the foam here that's to stop his shoulder joints from, I guess, having some friction in transportation. And there's more plastic around his legs as well. And I don't even think that my camera was good enough to capture how amazing the paint job is. It's just great, and he has the wear and tear like from the movie. It's just phenomenal. One thing I understand why it's not a feature, but I do wish it was a feature, was like the Yolo Park, where you can switch between like evil Nemesis Prime and just a normal Optimus Prime, but the head sculpt is just so amazing otherwise, and like the mouthpiece works great, so it's still perfect. As for articulation, he does have great articulation. As this was my first time touching him, I was very scared of breaking things, but it does work. There's just a lot of little pieces you have to move for like specific poses, but everything is great. And since I had just done a Yolo Park Optimus a couple of weeks prior, I was pretty familiar with the general sense of the mold. He has a good ab crunch, good head rotation. Everything feels great, and he feels like Optimus from the movies. It doesn't feel like just another Transformers figure. I feel like it just stepped right out of the screen and onto my dining room table. And then, similar to the Yolo Park version, you just need to pull out from the bottom in order to get his faceplate out. And yes, just like that, you can see how when you change your hands, you have to take that little blue piece out and just put it into the other hands. It doesn't stick as nicely as I'd like it to, but that does make it a lot easier to remove. So we take our wins where we can. And my only other main complaint I can think of is the fact that it's hard to get his accessories in, like hands, guns. I feel like I'm gonna break the fingers just because of how much I need to like push and force things to go in there. But once they're in there, it's great. The stability is great, and I don't feel like anything's going to break. It's just a little awkward at first, but I'm sure as my first Threezero figure, this will become a normal trend. But like, here you go, this is just an example of me trying to fit the gun in there. It's a little awkward, you feel wrong moving the fingers, but once you get over that and you're able to move them just enough to slip the things inside, it looks great. And here, this is just to show you that you can replace the little piece here, and this one will actually have that extra part in order for you to attach things to it. So here, that's the little upper back piece you put in if you don't want to have anything that's hanging off from his back and like a weapon storage, which is awesome. And then this little piece that you can remove is if you want to put him on the stand, which admittedly is where I have him right now. I keep him mostly in the stand just because it adds a little bit of presence and height to him, which is awesome. But it can be a little, it takes a little bit of time to get used to this stand just because it's very particular in its movements, but it still feels great. And you do kind of need it to be at the lowest height setting in order for him to stand on the stand, but that's totally fine. I'm not complaining, just elaborating. As well, I'm not really sure if it's supposed to tap into anything, but I just kind of shoved the stand inside his backside. Pause. And this is the connector piece in order to get the shield on his wrist. So you're going to slide the rectangular portion in. It's sort of rectangular. And then put the other portion, the circle part, into the shield. And it looks great. And it does have a rifle at the end of it, so you can also pose with the shield being used as a gun. And it is heavy. You can't really hear it right now with the table, but it's awesome. It's very, very, very heavy. And now I'm attaching the back holster for the sword, which I do just slide in like so. And he just looks so phenomenal no matter what type of pose we're going to do with him. And yes, to move the arms, you have to keep in mind there's a couple joints you have to move with the shoulder pads, but you get used to it, and it's still very satisfying just to have. Here's an example of me accidentally lifting up the base and then realizing that he's not able to stand anymore, so I have to adjust it and lower it back down, but the little lever is a little finicky, so I think my workaround is just to extend it and then push it all the way back down. That's what I do with my suitcases. As you can see, this is me figuring it out for the first time, so hope you're enjoying the show. And here, just to show off sort of a little bit of a close-up on him, everything is just very, very well painted, very detailed. It's just so perfect. And fun fact, this kit does come with the circuit board for LED eyes. I did need to get batteries afterwards, so the LED portion of this video is going to be actually shot a couple days later, but for all intents and purposes, it's awesome. And it really does help complete the set, though. Really, really fun stuff. Here is the little arm blade, the dagger that he does use. It looks great. I would usually pair that up with a fist, most likely, just because I feel like it's not long enough to have like a fully extended hand. But this is what it looks like on the figure. And as mentioned before, I welcome you to see what the Yellow Park Optimus looks right next to him. He's a lot smaller. He's still big for a figure. This is still like leader class size, but fortunately he is roughly half the height of the DLX Optimus. But they're both amazing figures. Obviously one is 3 times the price of the other one, but oh my gosh, it's just so great. Everything about this figure, I'm going to probably keep repeating about how I love it so much. I mean, I'm like an Optimus Prime stan, #1 fan, so it's hard for me not to say that. Anyways, moving on to non-gun related poses. This is the sword hand, which I will not be showing you how I put on right now, but this is what it looks like when it's in. I had to struggle a little bit, but it wasn't worth including into the video. Anyways, this is the figure. I did change the back piece so his shield could be holstered up. You can't put it all the way down, obviously, with the stand, but that's alright. Sword is absolutely huge, which is amazing. I don't think it's possible for him to hold his sword with both hands. I tried, I couldn't do it. I tried a couple of poses, like this is the one from the box. I think I need to have him a bit more slouched to give that same presence. Either way, as you can see, there's like the rust on the pipes on top of his back. Everything is cool, but he still is able to do some pretty sick poses. And here is what it looks like when you remove the top of the head. And as you can see, there is room for 2 of those batteries. Unfortunately, it is a different battery than the YOLO Park or the Mecha Invasion one, so I had to go buy a third set, but that's all good because I was able to eventually put that in there. I am going to show you me removing the sword just so you can see it. Like, it was a little awkward, but not the worst. It's more just putting it in there, which can be tough. And now to show you the maskless version, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. Like, it comes together in such a way, it does really look like it's out of the movie, which is awesome. Obviously, first time removing it was a little bit more difficult than it should have been, but after that I had no issues. As you can always pull the way that I did, one finger on top, one finger at the bottom of the mask. And here you go. This is what his face looks like without the mask, and let me know what you think of it. Did they nail it? Because I want to say yes. Anyways, that's in my display case, which obviously will have more Threezero eventually. And here's where we start with some poses, some with LED eyes and some without. Let me know what's your favorite. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. Everything about it is phenomenal. Sure, there's a couple things with like movement and poses and hands, but like I really can't complain. They really over-delivered with how amazing this figure is and how detailed and just like the presence that it has, that I can't complain about anything because it was probably necessary just in order to deliver this. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.